Guys, welcome back for another complex combo with your girl Sonia B. As I promised, I am following up with the second topic that was brought to my attention that one of the viewers wanted me to address. This one I had to really think on for the last 48 hours because it is near and dear to me. The topic itself is to forgive or not forgive toxic family members. And I just want to start out by saying just because they're family doesn't mean that the relationship you have is built on a mutual love and respect or that they support you. Point blank, period. We don't get to pick our family, so we definitely don't get to pick the role that each family member plays, and not every family member is playing fair. Quite simply put. So what is a toxic family member? It is somebody who is, I would just like to call them negative Nancy or negative Ned. They are just a ball of negative energy that just drains you of your happiness or just love. They just like to create drama, and they have to do it in front of an audience. And sometimes they're kind of passive about it. They do it in private so that when you do mention it in front of others, they can just say that, they can proclaim that they're innocent. It didn't happen. There were no witnesses. So the impact of a toxic family member is that they just have you on a constant roller coaster. You just never know what you're going to get when you're around this person. They just have you feeling confused, and you feel obligated sometimes when you're around them because they're family. You feel guilty because you held in your response to them. Or was just embarrassing how they acted in front of other people, or you're just flat out angry. They just piss you off. And if you're generally a happy person, but when you're around this individual, they just have you angry all the time. Or sometimes you're just grief-stricken. Like, I can't believe this is my life. This is my family member. This is what I'm dealing with. When they're not around, you're feeling this whole roller coaster of emotion. So, do we forgive them or do we not forgive them? It is not a simple answer because it really just depends on the family dynamics. It really depends on the level of disrespect or toxicity, I'll say. Because, family members will disrespect you sometimes inadvertently. So you can forgive those things and you can move on. But the blatant disrespect and just the toxic vibe that you get from this person that has your emotions up and down, it's crazy. So this video is about whether to forgive or not forgive. Totally up to you, and this is all my opinion. But family, you're an easy target. Your family members are an easy target, I should say, for those who are toxic or just are emotional abusers, because they assume because you're family, you're obligated to be around one another and endure it just because of the sake of being family. And that's all well and good, especially if you're not well and good. It's easy to get away with when you're younger because you don't know any better. You just know, this is my family and they love me. This is how they show love, and you just deal with it. So, because we accept that, because they're family, you're an easy target for them. They manipulate you and they torture you with their abuse, and they just figure it would be hard for you to remove yourself from the equation because you are family. Well, that's not true. So again, the question is, do we forgive or not forgive our family members? So I'm going to answer this twofold. I'm going to answer if you were to forgive or if you should choose not to forgive. If you choose, actually, let me start by saying this. If a person just cannot respect you, if you can't trust what they say or do around you or when they're not around you, if they constantly lie and manipulate you emotionally or talk bad about you to other family members behind your back, or when you're around them and you just simply don't have a voice in their presence, you need to remove yourself. That would definitely be my caveat for moving on, okay? You can distance yourself from them. Just because you distance yourself doesn't mean that you have to forget what it is that they did or said. And even when you do distance yourself from them, you may encounter them again. Okay? And in your absence of their presence, it's easy to forget that person's true colors. So we tend to forget what it is that person does or says on a regular basis. Okay? If you should choose to distance yourself from them, you can still forgive them, and you're not forgiving the actions, but that toxic behavior, that's a representation of them. Has nothing to do with you. But you can distance yourself from them, and you can choose to move on with your life. And you can still forgive them for being who they are, but not accepting them in your presence. If you should choose to do that, and you run the risk of being in their presence again, because this is family that we're talking about, that infamous family group text, a family reunion is coming up. Everybody's got everybody's phone number and email. Limit your communication with that person. Limit your email. Limit your texting. Limit your phone conversations if they should happen to call. Just minimize your contact with them. And eventually they'll get the point. Hey, he or she is giving me silent treatment. Are they really not rocking with me like they used to? And I thought we were family, but it is what it is. And eventually they'll get the message. So that's if that person is that toxic where you have to remove yourself from the situation. Now, the flip side of that is if you choose to forgive them. Again, forgiveness is not forgetting what the person did. But if you choose to forgive them and continue to have them in your presence, the number one thing I would have to say is, what is your intention behind that? Your intention of forgiving them, is it really to mend fences? Is it really to reestablish your relationship? What is your intention with that? And you also need to know their intentions if they're accepting this forgiveness that you've extended to them. You always hear individuals say that forgiveness is not for you. Not for the other person, it's more for you. It helps you sleep at night. It gives you peace. But forgiveness is not synonymous with reconciliation. I just want to start right there. Just because you choose to forgive them does not mean that you need to reconcile with them, especially if that person brought the opposite of peace and love in your life. You can't change who your family is. You are still my family. I will still acknowledge you as mother, father, sister, brother, auntie, cousin, grandma, grandpa, whatever. But we don't have to be around each other. We do not have to reconcile. And if you choose to forgive them, and again, if you're opting to forgive and be around them, it doesn't mean that you're accepting their actions. But you are, if you're choosing to be in their presence again, you are accepting the very fiber of who they are, because that toxicity is who that person is. So if you're choosing to forgive them, what you're letting them know is, I am accepting that this is your trait, this is your personality, this is your behavior. I'm not expecting to change that, but I'm forgiving you for the things that you did. But you have to be careful with that, because someone who is a narcissist will look at that act as, you are approving of my behavior. You give me approval to do whatever I did and said, and it wasn't that bad after all, because look, he or she came around and they forgave me, and they're talking to me again. So you open that door for them to just continue to step into who they are and treat you how they're going to treat you. But forgiveness does not make you a doormat. So remember that. Again, that narcissistic personality is going to rationalize that whatever they did, it's okay, and they're going to do it again, because that's who they are. So you just need to choose wisely. Does this person bring about all this negative emotion in me when I am around them? Do they constantly talk about me to others in the family? And it always gets back to you. They smile in your face, and that infamous, I love you, cousin. Love. That's another video altogether. It's an action word, okay? You can tell me all day long that you love me, but you're showing me that you are the opposite of love when you're talking about me, and you mean me harm, and you don't mean me any good, and you can't support me, you can't congratulate me, you can't celebrate with me when I win. Those are just toxic behaviors that one just does not need to tolerate. So, not a quick answer to the question, should you forgive toxic family members or not forgive? There's a lot of things that you need to think about. But personally, if I know an individual brings me nothing but heartache, chest pain, and anxiety, and they cause my emotions to be the polar opposite of what I am on a regular basis, then it's not worth it. Again, we don't choose our family, but just like I said in the beginning, family does not necessarily mean that this person, that your relationship with that individual or individuals, if it's more than one toxic family member, is built on mutual love and respect and support. You know, family will turn their back on you and talk about you and treat you bad, sometimes quicker than a stranger will. It's a harsh reality, but you got to make a decision. Am I going to operate in peace and love, or am I going to invite toxicity back into my life? So, like I said before, keep these questions and topics coming. Love to dialogue with you. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, do so below. If you have, I appreciate you, and keep your topics coming. I love it. Gives me a lot to talk about because I like to talk a little bit. Oh my gosh. Leave your comments below. Do you have a toxic family member that you're on the fence? Do I rock with this person, or do I rock away from this person? So are we rocking or are we rocking away? Do the rock away. Anyway, one of those toxic people, you just got to lean back. All right, until next time, it's your girl, Sonya B. Have a good one.